and DeMarcus Cousins.
So last night's games were awesome, and the NBA 2K tournament continues tomorrow with 4 more hours starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN2 and the ESPN app. The tournament runs all this week with all games, of course, on ESPN and ESPN2, and the winner will be crowned on April 11th.
Seeking to find some solace through the evilest time. I said, can't you see my greatness? Yeah. I said, can't you see my greatness?
With how fast the news has been moving lately, it's hard to believe it's been just over 2 months since we lost Kobe Bryant. Kobe is a lock for the 2020 Hall of Fame class that will be announced at noon Eastern right here on ESPN. Also expected to be honored with iconic orange jackets are Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett. No one could have thought the NBA could be shaken more than it was when Bryant and his daughter were killed in that helicopter crash. But here we are, waiting for the all clear so sports and our way of life can continue again. As we wait, we can look back and appreciate the careers and endeavors of all-time greats like Kobe and remember that our legacies are built one day at a time.
Once upon a time, there was a young basketball player who had dreams of becoming the best possible basketball player that I could be.
Kobe Bryant from Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania.
Golden jersey, baby.
Here we go, a lifetime dream, finally been realized.
And Kobe Bryant making his first appearance.
Trailer! How good is this kid?
Oh, what a slam dunk!
Look out again! Nice dish by Kobe. Bryant to shot on the 2000 NBA champion.
We finally got a championship and it feels great.
Back to back to back. Gotta look. A three-peat. 3 seconds. Bryant for the win.
If you want to make history, you have to do historic things.
81-point game.
Back-to-back titles.
Kobe left nothing in the tank. He left it all on the floor.
The most important thing in life is how your career moves and touches those around you and how it carries forward to the next generation. That's what makes true greatness.
Kobe will be remembered as a girl dad and an all-time great. Talent and willpower forged into one dominating force we saw on the court. Over his career, Kobe won 5 NBA titles and 2 Finals MVPs, as well as League MVP in the 2007-2008 season. Kobe, the NBA's 4th all-time leading scorer, closed out his career with 60 points, an NBA record for a player's final game. His 18 All-Star selections are the second most, behind only Kareem. David?
Tony, Kobe leads a star-studded class of nominees this year, which include the big fundamental Tim Duncan, who is one of 3 guys with 1,000 regular season wins, and the second player in NBA history to win a title in 3 different decades. The first was John Sally. Duncan's 3 Finals MVPs tied for second most all-time. How about KG, Kevin Garnett, the Timberwolves' all-time leader in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals. Garnett's 9 first-team all-defensive nods tied for the most all-time. WNBA champ and MVP Tamika Catchings spent her 15-year career with Indiana. She ranks first in steals, third in points, and third in rebounds in league history. Her 4 Olympic gold medals are tied for the most in Olympic basketball history, male or female. And according to a Tulsa World report confirmed by ESPN, former Oklahoma State coach Eddie Sutton will be a member of the Hall of Fame class that will be announced today. Sutton amassed 806 career wins, a 2-time AP Coach of the Year. We'll have the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame Class of 2020 announcement show hosted by Reese Davis, Jay Billis, Paul Pierce, and Rebecca Lobo, noon Eastern, right here on ESPN, also on the ESPN app.
5 teams, 5 new head coaches. Major changes have swept across the NFL. Can Mike McCarthy bring a ring to Big D? Will Kevin Stefanski bring the bark back to the dog pound? Washington bet on Riverboat Ron, but can he deliver? The expectations are high. The pressure is on. We'll break it all down, starting with the Dallas Cowboys in the series taking the lead. Coverage begins Monday on SportsCenter.
60% of the new head coaches are in the NFC East. After parting ways with Jason Garrett, Dallas hired former Packers head man Mike McCarthy, who won a Super Bowl with Green Bay in the 2010 season. After being fired by the Panthers, Ron Rivera was hired as Washington's new head coach. Rivera is one of 12 NFL coaches to win multiple AP Coach of the Year awards. Elsewhere in the NFC East, the Giants hired former Patriots wide receivers coach Joe Judge. Including interims, that makes him the Giants' 5th head coach since 2015. Matt Rule will be taking over for Rivera in Carolina. Rule has talent for turning programs around, first at Temple, then at Baylor, which was 1-11 his first season, 11-3 in his last. And former Vikings OC Kevin Stefanski was named the 12th head coach of the Browns since '99. Again, that's including interim head coaches. They'll try and snap the Browns' playoff drought, which at 17 years is the longest active streak in the NFL.
All of those teams would have been able to start the offseason workouts this week. So let's dig deeper on those teams as we open up the Fowler Files with our senior NFL reporter, Jeremy Fowler. Jeremy, we'll start in Dallas. What does the Cowboys' approach in free agency mean for their draft strategy, as well as Dak Prescott's contract situation?
Well, Tony, the Cowboys have been methodical and smart in free agency. They've gone for cost-effective options, particularly on defense. Getting a guy like Dontari Poe, 118 career starts. They get him for 2 years, $10 million. That's good value. Aldon Smith, he hasn't rushed a passer since 2015. Certainly a risk there, but at 1 year and $4 million, it's manageable. Again, good value. And all this is done with Dak Prescott in mind. The Cowboys know they have to pay him sooner than later. There's been some optimism on this deal, Tony, but there's still some things to work out, some hurdles with guaranteed money, with number of years on the deal. The Cowboys could want a longer deal than Prescott is willing to give. But certainly they are hopeful here, and they're spending right now knowing they have to spend on Prescott later. Now let's go to the Redskins. Tua Tagovailoa is still in the mix here because the Redskins are looking at all their options, a plethora of players. They've gotten the medical rechecks on Tua, so they could look at the quarterback, but I spoke to a team source who said, look, Dwayne Haskins has done some good things at the end of last year. They haven't fully committed to Haskins at quarterback, but they haven't walked away from him either. So the source said, do you want to stunt the momentum you had at the end of last year and start over at quarterback? And Chase Young sitting there at number 2 overall. Some people believe he is the best player overall in this draft. Let's go to the New York Giants. Some around the league think that Yannick Ngakoue, the pass rusher out of Jacksonville, is involved with the Giants, but they don't think the Giants will go that route because they're trying to instill a culture with first-year head coach Joe Judge and David Gettleman, the GM. He loves his draft picks. That's what several people around the league told me, that he can get an impact player at number 4 overall. Why give that up? So you're looking at Isaiah Simmons, the linebacker out of Clemson. He's a do-it-all option for them. Derek Brown over the middle. Jeff Okudah, the cornerback. You have a ton of players who can make a huge difference. Here's Tristan Wirf, if you want to go the offensive tackle route. Now let's switch over to the Carolina Panthers. Teddy Bridgewater is an option that helps the Panthers and first-year coach Matt Rule in the future and the present, because they looked at Bridgewater and Marcus Mariota in the offseason. When they decided to go with Bridgewater and release Cam Newton, they knew the 3-year deal was significant because they hope Bridgewater plays all 3 of those years for them, but they also really like future draft classes, including the 2021 class. If they can get a Trevor Lawrence guy like that, Bridgewater gives them flexibility there. Now let's go with the Cleveland Browns. They're all in on free agency. This is not a rebuild any longer because I'm told not only did they sign big players like Austin Hooper and Jack Conklin, they've been in on the Jadeveon Clowney mix. Some people around the league believe they even got close to a deal at some point in the last week. And so they have Olivier Vernon at pass rusher, but he's got a $15.5 million cap hit. They can always switch that out for Clowney opposite Myles Garrett. Would be a dangerous combination on the edge for the Cleveland Browns. So 2 or 3 years ago, they would not be looking at making these kind of moves, Tony, but it's a different time. They're all in because they believe they can contend right now.
Oh, yeah, the Browns, especially because they haven't been to the playoffs since 2002, which is the longest drought in the NFL. That is our Jeremy Fowler breaking it down for us here on SportsCenter. Thanks, Jeremy.
Up next, we celebrate some of the best fourth down plays of all time on this April 4th. A look back at the Immaculate Reception. How about the Phillies special? We'll get into all of them. Plus, in 7 minutes, when the baseball season starts, LA will be looking for its first World Series win in 32 years. Who might stand